Well, good morning. It's a Saturday morning. I'm not sure the date, but I'm hoping to get this video out today. Got a customer, one of my subscribers as well, Lee, sent me in a Sony ICF-2001D for repair. He dropped it, and basically it had stopped working. I believe it came back to life, but then it died totally. So, I mean, I've spent a lot of time on that radio trying to sort out what was wrong with it, making sure it was working properly. Recapped it, found some dodgy capacitors, so decided to change the whole lot, which was a task in itself. I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever done one, but they are miniature capacitors, miniature electrolytics. They're not SMD, but they are really tough to get out. Anyway, I did all that, and still wouldn't change frequencies. No sound out of it. Then all of a sudden it would just spring into life, and then it would work, and then it would stop again. So I thought there's got to be something in the PLL circuit. So got into it and just started sort of tapping around on the board, and got to the PLL chip, tapping around that, and sure enough it would cut in and cut out again. Narrowed down my tapping to the actual crystal itself. Now tapping the crystal would stop it dead. It would take it out of lock, and of course if it goes out of lock, nothing works. So tapping it again, it would go back in lock, and I could check that on the out of lock pin on the processor, and sure enough it would lose its voltage and go out of lock. So basically that said to me that it's 99% the crystal is dodgy, and put out a couple posts on the forums, and sure enough one of the classic causes of it is a radio set getting dropped, which this had. Now this all happened probably over a month ago, so I've got to apologise to Lee for having the radio so long, but you know, I've just been hanging out trying to see if an old scrap Sony ICF-2001D comes up on eBay or one of the other auction sites or free sites, but nothing at all yet. I've got my eye on one faulty one. Hopefully, you never know, that might turn out to be a goer. But really, this is an appeal video for anybody with a scrap ICF-2001D. It can't be the 2001 because that's a different board and it doesn't use the same crystal. Now I'll get you down on the bench here in a second to show you what the crystal looks like. Okay, well this is the offending item. I don't know if you can read that. Yeah, probably just there. So it's a 6.275, it's marked 386-12. NDK.14. That's the crystal that's come out of it. I mean, it's just a standard crystal case. It's a HC49 or something like that. I can't remember the exact case size now, but it's just a standard size crystal. I did get some from Mouser. This was the closest I could get, which is actually 6.25 megahertz. Now I did build a little oscillator circuit, which is here. So basically I'm able to put my crystal in here and measure the frequency and look at the pattern on a scope. Now I added in some extra capacitance down here on this flying lead. Little ceramic trimmer. I think it's a little miniature capacitor trimmer anyway. And I'm able to pull the crystal a little bit, but nowhere near enough to get a 6.25 up to 6.275. I can sort of get the odd like 5-10 hertz out of it, but no more than that. Which, I mean, it's a reference crystal, so it's got to be right. So anyway, that was the test circuit. I was able to prove, and I'll put the video on in a minute. I'll add that onto the back of this video, just to show you what it did in circuit, and also what it performs like in my test jig. So if you can see this, let me just get you in. Sorry about the angle on this. Let's see if I can get it a little bit better for you. Maybe. So this is PL01, and this is the crystal you can see here. If it'll let me get you in any closer with it. I might do. So this is the crystal here, that marked X2 on the schematic, and 6.275. As I say, I've tried adding capacitance into it, but can't get it to pull in anywhere near where I need it. So that sort of gets me on to what I need, really, and that is anybody that's got that. Hopefully you can see that. Let's just get that centered up. So ICF-2001D, or I believe the American version is a 2010 ICF-2010 Sony. Both of those use the same boards. I just think there's some slight difference, and again, if you've got the one without the airband on it, that's the same board again, so it will have the same crystal in it. So I'm really looking for a scrap set of one of those two that I can pinch a crystal out of. And there's one other thing as well, is the flat ribbon connector has been broken. Unfortunately, the owner decided to see if he could fix it himself, and unfortunately broke the retainer for the ribbon cable. Now it will sit in there, but it does keep moving and popping out. It's a real pain, so it does need a new ribbon connector. That's a 9-pin FFC connector. Again, can't seem to find one. I've ordered something from China, which could be here in a few weeks, but not convinced it's the right one. So it's X2 on the schematic, 6.275 megahertz, and the Sony part number is 1-567-386-11. So please, if you have got one, I'm happy to buy a scrap radio. You know, I'm not looking for this for nothing. And hopefully we can get Lee's radio back up and running. So really hope someone's got one of those. So join me for the next part of the video, and I'll just show you what it's doing in circuit. Okay, I've just popped a couple double A's in there, brand new. Leave it back off for a minute, it won't hurt. So now hopefully, there we go. Let's try it's not a lot, is it? Okay, the 3 button was jammed in. So FM, 100 megahertz should be classical FM. .88 should be radio 2. Let's put the aerial up. Nothing. Let's have a think there. What's likely to be active? 75 meters. Okay, so we have no stations. Then again. Appears to be working. Right, so I just turned that off to make sure the light was working. Okay, something's definitely missed there. Sounds like the amplifier's working because we're getting a hiss coming through, and it is almost like a radio hiss, so it could be something in the front end of the radio, hopefully. Something nice and simple. There's no hard reset on this that I can see. And we have got a strange broken off piece there that I might have to glue back from somewhere. Yeah, it's certainly got the amplifier working. Okay, I've been messing with this radio for hours and hours now. I've remade most of the joints because for some reason, there we go, we've got, it works fine now, no problems at all. I can adjust the channels up and down. Just mess around with it a bit more.
Like Texas 8th London news, and you might have seen the video of a runner helping a stranger over the line in yesterday's London Marathon. David Wyeth started to collapse with 200 metres to go before Matthew Rees stepped in.
Oh, sorry, my power keeps
right,
dropping off
there may
it.
have been others, but you persisted, and
Right.
I told you to go and you still didn't.
This is Newsbeat, back at 12:45.
Now, if I get down to here, which is the crystal, and tap it, gone. So, I mean, I've remade the joints on it. Whether it's just gotten weak, so I probably need to get into the service manual and just have a look at the voltages and the frequencies, because you've got a little trimmer here. Of course, that's connected to this IC as well. So I've got to check that, make sure there's no legs broken on that IC, but I can't see any anywhere. I've remade all the joints on it, so I'd better hang on here because you might get some copyright hit us. I don't know what song that was, but anyway, yeah, that's the next plan of attack. Tune off of that onto some speech.
changing in Paisley. If you look very, very
There we go.
carefully and really keep an eye out, keep your ears open, you can spot that there is a slight growth in support for the Scottish National Party. Now you can understand what may have made some of you annoyed to get to that point. The government.
So that's marked as X2 on the board.
Oh, lovely Scotland, please don't leave us. We love you so much. We want only to.
So I'm going to have a look at that one now, just see what that does. Let's just get this power off a minute.
And then when it looked like you might.
So I'm running out of ideas on this one. It's definitely something to do with that area of the board. Like I say, I can't really see anything physically wrong with it at all. I've remade all the joints on that IC. I've remade the joints on the crystal. So I need to see if I can get my frequency counter to look at the frequencies in that area a minute, just see what I'm expecting. Okay, well, as you can see, I've got quite a bit of stuff hooked up now, and I think I found what the problem is. Well, I'm pretty sure I have. So basically, on the IC, we have got an unlock pin 8. Goes up to the unlock. So when it's failed, I've actually got, I don't know if you can see this or not, but when it's in fail mode, I've actually got 2 volts on pin 8, so that must be telling the processor that it's in an unlocked condition and not letting it come on. With it working, I've got 0 volts on that, so that really is the only major difference between the two. The other thing is the frequency of that. Now, what I think it is, it's the actual oscillator crystal, the little canned crystal. Now, whether I can get one or not. So if I give it a few flicks. Not a very scientific method of doing it, I suppose, but let me just show you then in its unlocked state. I've got loads of stuff connected up here. I've got my oscilloscope connected. I've got the frequency counter. I'm not sure if you can actually see that. Probably you might be able to see it a bit better like that without the light shining on it. You can see I've got a couple multimeters. I'm only using this one actually at the moment. Hopefully you can see that. So yeah, basically on pin 8 at the moment, which is the unlock, I've got a good steady reading on it. I've actually got 2 volts. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'll just zoom in a little bit so as you can see the meter. If you can see that, if that's any better. Yeah, so if I pin a Pro pin 8, I've got 2 volts now. In the service info it says I should have 0 volts on that. So if I can get this thing to unlock by
slightly more complex.
There we go.
Mixed developments where you've got housing associations over there, you've got ex-local authorities.
That's just my lamps and everything making that squealing noise.
10 years ago built here.
If I go back again to pin 8.
That is an interesting and diverse community.
It is. I mean, one of the benefits of developing sites
0
like this is
voltage.
that we can create a very rich local community in mixed tenures, and we can genuinely deliver mixed and balanced communities where you have people accessing affordable homes for the first time as first-time buyers,
people going up the home ownership ladder, growing families.
So if I,
across the road that are renting in.
I'll also show you the frequency in a minute.
That's definitely a healthy environment to live in.
What future do you see for SMEs in house build?
The future. The government has definitely recognised through the white paper that it needs to engage and involve
right,
SMEs
let's
on a much
find
greater
the
level than it has
frequency
done
counter.
previously. It now needs to invest in the
Now
institutions
pins
so
5 and
we can
6,
move away from
turn
a vicious
that down,
circle
I'm
of
not got
blockages, probably into a more virtuous circle of repeat business, getting things done, partnership, collaboration, and new homes built.
And that means more people in the planning office.
Right.
That really is bums on seats, isn't it?
so pins 5 and 6 of the oscillator.
That's Chris Curtis from
So if
Seven
I
Builders. We're listening to
probe
Mr.
that
Chairman
now,
of the Government Association, Lord Gary
you can see I've got
Fawley. Of course, in the rush to build houses,
6.2747.
that smaller builders are
Well, the
being
crystal's
squeezed out of the Home Builders Federation.
6.275, so that's right. And pin 6, again, fine. So we've got the frequency coming in and going back out again, and we've got the voltage correct. Now if we flick this again, you can hear it's gone off frequency. Probe this again, I've actually got nothing on either of those pins, which you can't see the oscilloscope, not oscilloscope, the frequency counter. There we are. If you can see that. Yeah, that's probably a bit better. Yeah, so at pins 5 and 6 now, absolutely nothing. And if I can get it to come back in again,
Be able to build those houses from. Those are the bigger issues.
And so,
oh, what a gain.
you think then that there's no, this is just not true? that
See,
small and medium-sized enterprises
6.27476,
are not
that's
meeting all the
6.275.
mega developments. It's in the report
Near
of the
enough.
Home Builders Federation, but you think it's just not true?
It's not true that we're prioritising those bigger developments. Bigger developments.
So that's got to mean
bring infrastructure.
that
Smaller put pressure on infrastructure. So there is a need to make sure that most development is on big
that crystal
sites. But that's not to say that it's a priority. And I'm a councillor as well as being leader.
is causing it to go out of lock. Oh, what a gain. Okay, I've now got my scope probe on as well. So that's my scope probe, that's my probe for the frequency counter. So I've got 6.27324 on there. Just let me get you to the scope. Okay, hopefully you can see that. So this is my frequency readout. You can see the waveform there, and it's showing us 6.27327. Now this one's saying 6.2324, so I'm sure if I extend it a bit further at 273239, so it's not far off. I mean, I probably don't need the frequency counter with this measuring it. Just zoom in on the frequency a little bit better. Yes, it's fairly stable, that. Yeah, quite pleased with that. So let's try another one in. Let's go. Well, the one thing, the reason for doing this is to tap it and see if I can get it to drop out. There it goes, gone. So tap it again. There he's back again, so that does prove my theory that the crystal's knackered. just occasionally he struggles to start up. You can see that there she's gone again. Ooh, struggling to come back there. That is definitely it's back again now. That is definitely a dodgy crystal, unfortunately. I was really hoping that it wasn't. Next thing I was looking to do is add in some capacitance. So if you think I've got that at 6.275, which is knackered, technical term. Let's put one of these in. This is our possible replacement. So we're looking at 6.2491, so we need to be 6.275. So we need to add, that's 50, 60, 70, about 25 hertz into that. And I've heard that you can do it with capacitance. Just adding capacitance in series. So what I want to try and do is rig something up where I can adjust the capacitance. Let's see if I can pull this up. So it's 6.2491 at the moment. I'm going to make a note of that, and then I'm going to rig up a capacitor and we'll mess about with it.